Welcome to You Can Build Arrays of Anything. Hey, I'm Eric, and in the excitement over new things, sometimes we forget about just how good the old things actually were. And no, I'm not talking about old computers, but they were pretty good too. No, I'm talking about data types that can hold more than one thing. So recently in Business Central AL, recently and in the grand scheme of things, we got lists and dictionaries, and they're the craze of the land because they're really cool and you can do a lot of things with them, but they can only hold primitive values. They can hold a string, and they hold an integer and stuff like that, and they can hold itself. So you can have a list of lists and stuff like that. But you cannot have a list of records. You cannot have a list of code units. You cannot have a list of record refs or stuff like that. No. But you know what? You can have an array of all these things, and that's kind of cool. So let's refresh the what is an array. So I can declare a variable. Let's call it R. And you do an array, and then what do you do? Well, you can say array 10 of text. That's a nice array. So we can say that R4 is hello, and we can go here and change this thingy to have the value of R4. Of course, no, I was supposed to look at comics. Hello, that works great. And of course, in this case, the indexing parameter don't have to be a constant, so we can do something like no, let's say 3 is hello, and 6 is hello too, and then for I equal 1, because arrays are one indexed. 10 do, then message here. So if we run this, we get, you see the darkened shadow, because the more message you get, the deeper the shadow becomes. Blank, 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 hello, and hello too, right? So that works, that's fine. So, but we didn't really come here to do an array of text, but so that's the syntax. So array dimensions, and we could get crazy here and say that we want a 3-dimensional array of size 10 on all 3. And if you're into a higher level of physics, you can do a 4-dimensional array of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now we're getting into the maximum number of array elements is 1 million. Actual number is 10 million. So we could do an array of let's replace 1 with 10 with 5. No, we're still over 2 by 2. Okay. Anyway, the point I'm badly trying to make is that a 10-dimensional array is the biggest you can get, but you run into the fact that you can only have 1 million elements in an array no matter what. So the problem with array, and the reason that most people start saying, oh, that's a bad idea, is that it has a fixed length. So we cannot do, let's say that we okay, let me just change this one up. So this will leave work. So if we create a procedure test that takes an I or a C integer, we cannot go and say, okay, hey, I want an array. So array I in length of text. That does not fly. You cannot do that. So an array is always fixed in size, and clearly there's some applications where that's a deal breaker, but lots of applications it's actually not a deal breaker. I have a few apps where I need some of the things I'm going to show you in a second, and it's the only way to accomplish some of these things. So I put a max of 100 or 200 or something of a thing, and the system will just allocate more of it. And hey, it's not my servers hosting the software. Anyway, so let's sorry, that was a snarky remarks. Sometimes it is my servers hosting the software, but mostly it's Microsoft's, and they seem to have infinite memory, so it's not really an issue. But anyway, so what we came here to talk about was not an array of text, because hey, that is a pretty old construct. No, what we came here to talk about is an array of something. So you see this list? It keeps going and 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 going. This is basically everything. I think I have a list somewhere. So if I go and open this page, these are all the data types you have in AL. And if you look at this, there's a bunch, right? But the interesting part is that this list is basically the same. So you could do an array of code unit sales post. Sorry, we're namespacing. Well, sales post. If I hit enter, then we get, that still gets me too many times that I end up in just typing instead of completing, and then it's not giving me the using. At some point I will get used to that, I promise. Anyway, so now we have 5 sales post code units. So we can do R, and then number 1, I want to run with something. So we could, let's sales header, let's create an array 5 of record sales header, right? And then sales header 1. And ignore the fact whatever this makes any sense at all, because it probably does not. But you can do this. One of the things that I'm actually there's a couple of concepts that I have been using here. So one of them is in the toolbox. My toolbox app. You can just create variables of in this case mostly records, right? So I need a construct inside the toolbox to hold a set of record refs, and I have a basically something that looks sort of like this. I think I have a maximum of 100 record variables. So, and then there's some fancy figuring out which of the 100 slots are taken and not taken, and so on. But that's the only way I can get a a number of runtime assigned record refs. Otherwise, I'm logged into whatever is in well, these are also in the stack, but at least they're available. In reality, I could have gone and say, okay, R1 is a record ref, and R2 is a record ref, and R3, but why would I? This works fine. No, I think we lost it somehow. Wow. Am I blind? Wow, did you see that? For a brief moment it had no clue what was going on, and then we kind of have again. Wow. Oh, that was interesting. Anyway, so you can create an array of anything, which is in a case like this super practical. And yes, you allocate something, but depending on, don't say, okay, I know that most of my in case of the toolbox, no, the average toolbox script has one record. The not so slightly average toolbox script might have 2, 4, and maybe the extreme toolbox apps toolbox script will have 25. So I set a maximum of 100, right? And the day somebody files a support ticket saying, hey, the toolbox saying that I cannot have more than 100 records, but I need 101, I'll update it to 101. But it works fine and makes the code in other places super more readable. So that I like that. So don't discount arrays. They're actually pretty cool, and they're cool because you can create an array of anything. Go try it out. And then check out this video. There's another AL hacking going. There's AL hacking going on in this video. I'm sure of it. Go check it out. It's a good one. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.